friend, on down to the newest dragon to find solace in our numbers. I am doing everything I can to keep them safe and happy, but I can't work miracles. If you can just lure him out, how? Archer released Miles, frustration heightening the sense of impotence that followed such attacks. I have tried for over 100 years, and to what end? I can't fight someone who hides in the shadows. Then perhaps you shouldn't be the master of the tribe. Miles spat the words out, giving Archer a hard shove on the shoulder, making him stagger back a couple of feet. Heat flashed through Archer, and for a moment he considered teaching his cousin a lesson, but he ended up shaking his head to himself, feeling that there had been enough death. Miles was obviously just as frustrated as he was. You have done little enough to stop the wholesale slaughter of our tribe. If I were master of the storm dragons— But you are not, Archer said slowly, the note of warning clearly evident in his voice. His eyes were narrowed, the icy cold of grief not even touching the dragon fire that always burned inside him. Do you lodge a formal protest against me? He held Miles's gaze until the younger man dropped his eyes in an act of submission. He knew just how much it cost Miles, but he had little choice. The storm dragons had been together for a relatively short time, only slightly over 100 years, and as their first master, Archer had to be firm to those who would gainsay him. Without a strong hand to lead the often fractious dragons, they would devolve to a lawless band who scraped by on the fringes of both the mortal and immortal worlds. He'd be damned if they returned to that. No, I do not wish to protest against you, Miles said, holding the subservient demeanor for the required length of time before looking Archer in the eyes. I don't have designs on your job. Good. Archer smiled suddenly and punched Miles lightly on the arm. Because it's a nightmare I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, and certainly not on a cousin of my blood. The corner of Miles's mouth curled, acknowledging the affection in Archer's voice. There has to be something else we can do. Someone, somewhere must have a way we can defeat him. Maybe if we parley again? Archer walked toward the house, feeling unusually defeated. We can try setting up another parley with Hunter, although I don't expect it to go any different than the past ones. Perhaps this time— 2 dragon patrols approached. It will be no different than before, Archer said, his eyes on the dragons. The shadow dragons will profess innocence in the deaths of our members. Hunter will deny any charge I level against him. We will go away from the parley dissatisfied and frustrated, with no resolution. The patrols bowed and moved on, leaving the 2 men to enter Archer's house. They strode along the stone tile until Archer reached the second-floor room he called his office. The entire side of the house facing the ocean was made up of floor-to-ceiling retractable glass doors, allowing him to drink in both the light and the salty tang of the sea air. He loved this house, loved the view, loved the way the light seemed to lift everything to a brightness that filled him with joy. That was his blue dragon sire's blood in him, making him crave days spent surrounded by glorious sunshine, while the heritage of his green dragon mother ensured that he loved the endlessly restless sea just as much. Miles's phone gave a chirp when Archer sat down at his laptop, pulling up the tribe records to locate David's family so he could tell them of the tragic loss, noting David had been a member for only 2 years. His heart was sick with the knowledge that there was little he could do to avenge the death, at least nothing that he could do that would not bring more heartache and death to the tribe. This is interesting, Miles said slowly, looking at something on his phone. And it might be just what we're looking for. You remember that manuscript that surfaced in Venice late last year?